Hi there, in today's video I'm going to be talking about the changes you should be making on your website or updates you should be making on your website quarterly, sometimes sooner than that, and there's some techie, there's some non-techie, more content-based things that we will talk about. If you are a do-it-yourselfer or a solopreneur, this is the video for you. My name is Yasmin Robles with Robles Designs, and we create drill-worthy websites for entrepreneurs who are hell-bent on taking over the world. We do this not just by creating pretty sites, we also put a thought process behind it because, your site is supposed to make you money. It's supposed to turn those leads into fans, and you can't do that if there's buttons missing or no strategy at all for the user. So that is what we do. You can find a free checklist for what you should be doing or checking off for your website as you're building it out. Great for whether you are using a designer or if you are DIYing it, perfect. You can just check things off as you go on your website build project. Make sure to follow, subscribe, do all the things on social media. Check us out on Instagram at Robles Design Studio, and you can message me any website questions that you have or put them in the comments wherever you are watching this. This first one is a bit more of a techie thing and really more for those of you that are on the WordPress platform. Please, at least quarterly, make sure you go into your platform. First, make sure that your backups are working. So if you are on like WP Engine, those can be scheduled out. Some other platforms have an automatic backup as well. So make sure those are running. Then go into your site and start seeing if you need to update things like the PHP. And so I'm sorry, this is techie, but PHP, the WordPress core, the theme, and the plugins. I usually like to update those one by one, all of these one by one, because if something breaks and you hit update everything, you have no idea what was that one thing that broke the site. For example, and years ago, I think it was almost like 8 years ago, I hit update all plugins on my website when I had a WordPress site, and it broke everything just got destroyed. And the reason was one of the plugins was messed up. They probably issued an update or something, and it wasn't compatible with the WordPress version that I had up and running. I had to restore everything. Luckily, I had a backup. I had to restore everything and then go one by one all over again to figure out which plugin it was. So if you have a WordPress site, make sure to go. I like to go one by one. I know it's annoying, but have some chips with you. Maybe watch some Netflix while it's running, and you can definitely keep your site updated that way. I did say that this video was for quarterly, but I honestly, if you have a WordPress site, I would check it once a month just to see if there are any updates available, or if your theme sends out patches. So if you've registered your theme, if it's a paid theme, they will sometimes send out patches or fixes, and you want to make sure those are up and running as well. If you have something like a Squarespace site, which most of my clients do, and I do as well, so you might not necessarily have to keep it updated because that's the point of Squarespace. They keep everything updated for you, but you still want to run through maybe quarterly and just kind of check things out because they will send out updates, and that might mess, depending on who your developer was, that might mess your code. If you don't have any special code going on, maybe just have a very brand specific font that you uploaded, it might not matter at all, but you want to make sure things are running. Let's say, for example, I have Flowdesk on my site and there's a script in there, and that's what how I capture people's emails. Maybe Flowdesk sends out an update or something happens and there's a disconnect, right? This happens a lot with MailChimp when some of my clients have MailChimp directly like syncing with their Squarespace site. Sometimes for some reason, or Instagram, sometimes for some reason it'll just like not work. It'll disconnect. So they have to go in there, and basically all they need to do is just re-log into, like redo the whole the button pressing on like, yes, I allow Squarespace to interact with my Instagram or MailChimp account. Just keep those things in mind. You want to make sure you're just going in there, checking it out. Squarespace is cool enough where it'll send you a warning. So if your MailChimp account is disconnected, then it'll send you a warning about somebody trying to sign up that wasn't able to. That's the techiest thing that I'm going to talk about today on what to keep updated on your site. So if you're on WordPress, do the plugins, the core, all the code needs to be updated, and it'll give you warnings on the side of what needs to be updated. With Squarespace, it won't really give you warnings, but you kind of just want to check out any specialness that you added to the site so that just to make sure that it's still working. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is not really techie, but it's not really, I guess, the fun stuff that clients like to do. It's more of in between. So I recommend quarterly, at least, checking on your traffic. So if you're a relatively new business owner, kind of like a lot of the people that are going through my Squarespace course right now, they're pretty new. They don't have a lot of traffic coming to their site, especially if they're still building it out. They're solopreneurs, so there's just not a lot going on their site. So yeah, quarterly could be good. They're also not running ads. They're not doing any big marketing push right now. They're just basically building out their site, having a coming soon page up and running, all that stuff. So traffic might not be top of mind, but it is nice to just at least say, that's interesting. I've been posting a few things on Instagram and I've gotten a few people coming to my site from that link. It's cool to see that, and so I would recommend at least quarterly just checking it out. If you are already established, let's say you've been around for about a year, or you're doing a big marketing push or running some ads or trying to go all in on Pinterest or whatever it may be, you want to make sure you are checking your traffic on the site as well. For any type of platform, I recommend going directly to Google Analytics and checking that because you can dive in deeper, as deep as you want, into your traffic. Squarespace does have their own little admin area where you can check the analytics, but I just like going into Google Analytics. Same thing with WordPress. There's some plugins that will tell you what your traffic's like, but I still like going into Google Analytics because I feel like I can get more information than I sometimes even need, but I can dive deep into everything that the user is doing there. So check out your Google check out your traffic, and Google Analytics is what I use to track that. It's free, so it just connects with your site. The other one as a bonus that you can check out quarterly is Google Search Console, also free, and that basically tells you what keywords you're coming up for. So if SEO is a big deal for you, not just the basic SEO on the site, but like you're full on going into SEO, which kudos to you because that is like a big iceberg. You will want to be checking Google Search Console and a few other tools out there, but Google Search Console at least about quarterly so that you can gauge how people are coming to your site, what they're searching for when they find you. The next thing you want to check on quarterly is all about branding. This is what I do, honestly. I have my site open, I have my Instagram open because that's my go-to platform, and I might have my email, my Flowdesk open, and just kind of seeing, okay, quarterly, how is my brand looking across these three platforms, right? So if you have flyers or if you go out to events and you have handouts, anything like that, you also want, or displays, you want to take a picture of your display, you want to make sure you have that up as well so you can see it. And the reason being is you want to stay very consistent with your brand. You don't want somebody that met you at an event, a pop-up shop, let's say, coming to your site and not really understanding if you're the same person because the colors and fonts are all different on your site versus on the flyer that you gave them. So you want to make sure that you're maintaining consistency, especially on social media where it's so easy to just kind of pick a pink, right? If pink is in your color scheme, you'll just pick any pink and post it versus having a very cohesive brand where that pink is also tied to the pink that you're using on your site. So make sure you, about once a quarter, make sure that you are looking at your site, you're looking at your branding, at your social media, and making sure everything is consistent, using the same fonts, using the same style, the same voice, same tone. So if you're quirky in one, you're not going to be businessy on another platform. You want to make sure that everything is consistent. The next thing you should be keeping updated on your website about are your photos. Now, I know that we all don't have the funds to have a quarterly photo shoot, and if you work from home like I do, really it's a one-room location, and having photos taken of that one room every quarter would be kind of boring. I recommend going onto your site quarterly and just looking at the photos and seeing which ones need to be swapped out. So when I get a photo shoot done maybe once a year, I get them done once a year, and I try to get as many photos as possible, and then all I do is switch out the photos around on the site. So let's say I have a bunch of photos up right now, I have some reserved for later, I might swap those out. So it's still consistent. It was by the same photographer, same hairstyle, maybe same location, same look and feel, but I've only swapped out the photos, especially for a service-based business. I'm not going to be doing anything holiday, so I don't need those season-specific photos. All I do is swap them out. Then if I still can't get to a photo shoot, such as like during a pandemic, then what I'll do is I will look at the hierarchy of the photos and just keep in mind which ones have I already used at the very top of the page, and I can say, okay, photo A has been used, photo B has been used, but photo C has been living down below, so let me just push that up above and just kind of trade places in terms of hierarchy for the photos. And that helps just bring in some freshness every quarter to the website. If you're using stock photos, you can definitely go in there and go onto Pexels and find a new photo, but it just, especially at the topmost section of a homepage or any sort of page on your site, ideally it would be a branded photo of you, of your team, but something that's really well branded to you versus just a regular stock photo. And that way, it just attracts the eye. It really helps with that brand consistency. And then you can just swap locations every so often. So one photo that might have been on your homepage can now go to your contact. The one that was on your services page can now go to the homepage. You can swap them out and give some freshness to the website. One of the last things that do-it-yourselfers forget about updating on their website is the testimonials. So you've been working so hard and you're asking people for testimonials or leaving them on Google My Business or Yelp or wherever that might be, and you're doing such a great job, all these 5-star testimonials, I'm so excited for you, but then you forget to put them on your site. So what you really need to do is go onto your site every quarter and see, and you can go and find those testimonials and see where you can place them. And for example, let's say you've gotten 2 new testimonials and you have a spot right on your homepage to add them. Perfect. Add them in there. Take those old testimonials and put them on a testimonial page, put them on the about page, on the contact page. But that way on the homepage, it'll bring in some freshness and it won't look like just the same testimonial over and over again from a client from like 3 years ago, right? So you want to keep that freshness going. Bonus points if you can get them to share a headshot or get it from LinkedIn, because if it's on LinkedIn, it should be professional enough. And put a headshot of the person who provided the testimonial so that it can give a little bit more of a authenticity to the testimonial that you got. But yeah, basically go in there, you've been working so hard, you've got some testimonials on Google My Business or wherever that may be, and put those on your site with a headshot. It just adds so much freshness, and you can do that once a quarter. If you get lots of testimonials, maybe once a month, but really once a quarter would be great. The other ones can go on your testimonial page and live there. So let's recap in no particular order. Make sure that you are checking your brand consistency across all platforms, not just your website. Make sure that you're checking in on your traffic, and the bonus was check in on your keywords as well. Update your photos, and if not, just kind of swap places. Update your testimonials, or again, just swap places of where things are going. And finally, make sure that the actual site, the code is being kept up to date. That means if you are on something like WordPress, that you are clicking update and you have all these backups going. You're a bit more of a techier person maybe. So you're going through all this process of keeping things updated. On the other end, Squarespace, they keep those things updated, but you still want to go in and check, is my Instagram account still loading freshness? If not, you might have to disconnect and reconnect it. But make sure that all these things about once a quarter you're checking in on, and that you are just keeping your site updated, because either whether it's visual freshness or whether you're literally like plugging some security holes by keeping a plugin updated. That means that your site is running smoothly and it just looks great for the user and it's a great user experience. Let me know if you have any questions, put them in the comments or tag me in them, or go on to Instagram at Robles Design Studios. If you need a checklist for either working with a designer, rebuilding your website, or building it from scratch, check out roblesdesigns.com/checklist, and that will take you to the sign up page. You'll get a checklist. It's a nice little PDF where you can literally check off what you need to do on your website to make it look like the digital empire that you deserve. With that, let me know if you have any questions, and I will catch you in the next video.